it's wonderful. Really, you're very special to me because whenever I ask you to do something, you say yes. So,
Brilliant.
that's great. So I'm going to let you get started. Again, thanks for being here and starting us off for hopefully our first of many country-specific ones. By the way, Elizabeth, we haven't even done this yet, and Elizabeth started with me yesterday. We're going to do EFL Talks Latin America.
Ooh, wonderful.
So we'll be talking again soon, okay? All right, so I'll let you get started, okay?
An earlier morning for you in Ecuador. And I hope I will live up to the expectations of being the first speaker today. I'm going to be talking about using projects in a meaningful way in the classroom. I have been using projects formally at school, the school where I work, for 6 or 7 years. So I will hopefully tell you my experience and show you some of the things we've done and the system we have been using. The first thing we need to look is the difference between project-based learning, the use of projects in the English classroom. In the case of project-based learning, which is the image at the bottom right, the teacher is a guide for the whole process, and the teacher comes up with an original question that triggers the work, and it's the students who do all the work, from the questioning, the planning, the researching, the creation of the project, and they end the project with presenting their ideas and their findings. Now, a different way to work with projects is to take up the first 3 stages as a teacher. That's what I do. I create the project, I plan the project, I pre-digest the research, and then I give it to students so they can create, improve, and present their final products. Of course, the teacher is present at all stages. When the students are working, the teacher is working as a facilitator. So in any of the 2 formats or schemes, the teacher's work is essential. Now, the way I do it in my school, we develop projects so that our students can learn and practice specific language items or vocabulary, and we create as many projects as we need to develop throughout the year. What is interesting about projects is that, and what we have seen happens, is that they require a lot of teacher guidance during the whole process, and they usually involve team collaboration. I have also done individual projects, but it's interesting to see, even in individual projects, how students start helping each other with different types of things. So that's really interesting. The second thing is that the projects usually focus on a product. Students have to do something. It could be make a poster or create a video or make a model. It doesn't matter. The idea is that during the process they create something, and at the end of the project they show what they have created. Projects can be done whether you are using a course book or not. If you are using a course book, you can create projects triggered by parts of your course book. Topics or readings or other things that appear in the course book can trigger a project. But they can also be self-study projects for a topic that is not included in your course book and you really want to let your students have a go at. So self-standing or course book based projects are really good. Now, as I said before, the teacher works during the whole process, but specifically during the planning of the project and during the students' work on the project by guiding and facilitating their work. At the end of the project, of course, the teacher is going to be working in the assessment stage, but I will be talking about the assessment of projects in the next slide. It's also important that students are allowed to make some kind of choice, either in the topic, the format, the way to present it, the tool to use. Whenever you allow choice, students are more motivated. Now, why do I like projects? Well, there are several reasons. I can use authentic materials. They promote collaboration and creativity. They allow me to provide choice to students. They are fun. All this leads to more motivation. And when students have a choice, they feel empowered and they feel responsible, which is a great thing to happen in the classroom. As I was saying, the assessment stage of it is very important, and I use rubrics, and I designed the rubrics specifically for each project I do. I designed 2 rubrics, one for the process and one for the product. In the process rubrics, these are the things that could be included, but again, it can vary from project to project. So you could include working collaboratively, speaking English, reorganizing information using on words, solving problems, etc., etc. And in the product rubric, you can assess language specifically, written language, oral language, and you can include product-specific aspects. If it's a video, what's the format, what's the length? You may also want to include the deadline if you think that this is a way of increasing students' responsibility. And this is an example of one rubric I've done for a project that I will show you at the very end. So this is how the students see the rubric. They see the rubric before they start working on the project so that they know what are the things that are important for this specific project. So let's have a look at 4 ideas for 4 projects I've done with my students over the past years. The first is called Schools of the Future. And what I do is we watch a few videos and look at pictures of schools of today. And the students discuss how they imagine the ideal school in the future. And they make a presentation, which can be a PowerPoint presentation or a video, where they express their ideas related to their curriculum, the buildings, the equipment that students should have, and any other thing that you can think of related to the ideal school. If you want to go back to this presentation, I am including a YouTube link to one of the projects my students have done, so you can see it later. A second project I've done with lots of success is called Art Stories. And in this project in particular, students select 10 images of works of art. They sequence them in any order they like, and they write a story based on these images. They write the story in paper, and then they create a video in which they show the pictures and tell the story with voiceover narration. Another thing I usually do when I use literature is I give them at the end, after I have read the book and worked on the language and vocabulary, etc., I give them a list of tasks that they can choose from so that they can do something more freer and more interesting with what they have read. So in this case, you have, for Midsummer Night's Dream, you have the list of activities, and you have 3 pictures showing some of the work. This girl created the stage setting for the play, for the 3 scenes of the play. This girl at the top created a video, an animation video of one of the scenes, and the girl at the bottom right Rocio, she compared 3 different versions, a narrative, the play, and a cartoon version. She compared the language, the vocabulary, the events, the characters, how they were portrayed in each of the versions. So here is the most important thing is choice and what they do with it. The last project I want to show you, and I'm running out of time, is this project, which is called HP Personal. Again, it's based on a commercial, an advertising campaign by HP, the computer company, and the students have to recreate a new ad for this campaign criteria, and they have to create different effects to recreate what they've seen in the original campaign. So again, you have a YouTube link to one of the projects, which is a wonderful rendition of the idea. So just on time, I think. I hope I interested you with some ideas. You can always go back, email me, or send me a question if you want to go into my website.
Wonderful as always.